Hi, I'm Robert May, and this is my wife, Marcia, and this is Healthy Weight 2020, Chapter 2, Assessment. The objective of this chapter is to honestly assess your current physical condition and establish realistic health and fitness goals based on your particular height and frame size. I'm sure you're familiar with the Serenity Prayer written by American theologian Reinhold Niebuhr. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Two things about your body that you just have to accept are your height and frame size. You cannot change them, so serenely accept them. Jesus said in Matthew 6:27, "Which of you by worrying can add 1 cubit to his stature?" Jesus also said in Matthew 10:29 through 31, "Are not 2 sparrows sold for a copper coin? And not one of them falls to the ground apart from your Father's will. But the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Do not fear, therefore. You are of more value than many sparrows." I used to love my long hair when I was a teenager. It never occurred to me back then that I would someday be bald. But God already knew. That's something I can't change, so I just serenely accept it. At 5 feet 5 and 5/8 inches tall, I am often looked down upon by taller men, but I am the height that God made me. That's something I cannot change, so I serenely accept it. Psalm 139:13 through 16 says, "For you formed my inward parts. You wove me in my mother's womb. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in secret and skillfully wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Your eyes saw my substance, being yet unformed, and in your book they all were written, the days fashioned for me, when as yet there were none of them." You are a unique creation of God. You are fearfully and wonderfully made by your Creator. Your adult height and frame size were determined before you were born. They are unchangeable. However, there are 2 aspects of your adult body that are determined by you and not by God. They are your weight and waist size. Here's where you may need courage to change the things that only you can change. In this chapter, you're going to take an honest look at your height and weight to discover your body mass index, BMI, and your waist and hip measurements to determine your waist to hip ratio, waist to height ratio, and waist circumference. Almost 30% of people in the world are obese or overweight. That's the title of an article on Time.com dated June 12, 2017. Studies have linked overweight and obesity to a higher risk for health complications like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, depression, respiratory problems, major cancers, and more. According to the World Health Organization, worldwide obesity has nearly tripled since 1975. 39% of adults aged 18 years and over were overweight in 2016, and 13% were obese. Most of the world's population live in countries where overweight and obesity kills more people than underweight. 41 million children under the age of 5 were overweight or obese in 2016. Over 340 million children and adolescents aged 5 to 19 were overweight or obese in 2016. Obesity is preventable. Healthy Weight 2020 is a project intended to open the eyes of anyone who is serious about regaining and maintaining their health, to bring into clear focus some simple truths about nutrition and lifestyle. Over the course of this video series and on our website, healthyweight2020.com, I will refer to numerous lectures, websites, articles, and books. Please keep in mind that I don't agree with anybody about everything. So even if I recommend a particular book, video, article, or website, it does not mean that I agree with everything in it. I don't always agree with the World Health Organization, but I do agree that obesity is preventable. So is overweight. I also know that they are reversible, and that is precisely the focus of this initiative, to show anyone who is interested, step by step, how to reclaim and maintain their healthy weight the way God intended. We all have that friend who can eat anything they want and never gain a pound, but for most of us, the struggle to maintain a healthy weight is real and constant. But it is doable. So let's get it done. The first thing you need to do is accurately determine your height. For years I thought I was 5 feet 7 inches tall because that's what was on my driver's license. Finally one day I actually measured my height and was surprised to discover that I'm actually a little less than 5 feet 6 inches tall. So the next time I renewed my license I had it corrected. Don't go by what's on your driver's license or how tall you think you are. Take a few minutes to accurately measure your height. Gather up a tape measure, a pencil, and a small plastic level ruler or hardcover book. It's easier to do if you have someone to help you, but it can be done alone. Stand up straight, barefoot on a hard surface against a wall or door where you can make a small pencil mark. Set the level, ruler, or book on your head. Be sure it is parallel to the floor and place a pencil mark along its bottom edge on the door or wall. Then measure from the floor to the pencil mark, and that's your height. To determine your BMI, you also need an accurate weight. Weigh yourself with as few clothes on as possible. Now look at a BMI chart. If you don't have one, there's a link to one on our website. Note that this applies only to adults. There are special charts for children. Find your height in the column at the far left. Follow that row across to the right until you come to your weight. Follow that column up to the top and you will see your BMI. As an example, I am over 65.5 inches tall, so I round my height up to 66 inches. According to the BMI chart, the normal weight range for a person of my height is between 118 and 148 pounds. Marcia is 61 inches tall, so her normal weight range is between 100 and 127 pounds. The easiest method to establish your frame size is to wrap your thumb and middle finger around your wrist close to your hand. If your fingers overlap, then you are small framed. If they meet, then you are medium framed. And if they don't meet, then you are large framed. A more accurate method is to measure your wrist, then refer to the following chart. Keep this in mind as you consider your normal weight range on the BMI chart. In my case, I am medium framed, so I figured that my normal weight, according to the BMI chart, should ideally fall within the range of the middle numbers. For my frame size, I don't think I would look healthy at 118 pounds. If your BMI is less than 19, you are considered to be underweight. Don't despair. I believe that if you follow this series to the end and adopt the necessary diet and lifestyle changes, your body will gradually and naturally settle at your optimal weight. Also, keep in mind that muscle weighs more than fat. A serious bodybuilder could be at a healthy weight even though the BMI chart says they are overweight. That's why we don't depend solely on the BMI chart. You need to take 2 more measurements while you have your tape measure out. They are your waist and your hips. We'll start with the waist. Now, don't go running to your closet to check the waist size of your favorite best fitting pair of jeans. The waist size of your pants is not the size of your waist. My employer provides a free health screening every year. Since my shift is 8 to 5, I have to attend the screening first thing in the morning, already dressed for work. A couple of years ago I got there and the nurse asked me my height and weight, and I told her. But then she told me that she was going to measure my waist. I was wearing my duty belt around my waist, or at least what I thought was my waist. I said, "Do you want me to remove my belt?" She said, "No." I was confused, but I complied. She took a measurement between my duty belt and ballistic vest, which was just above my navel, and then informed me that my waist size was 3 inches bigger than the waist of my pants. So, it turns out that your true waist measurement is taken at or just above your navel. And sure enough, as I look back at pictures from my parents' and grandparents' day, I realized that men used to wear their pants pulled up to their actual waistline. To get an accurate waist measurement, stand barefoot up straight, breathe naturally, hold the end of the tape measure just above your navel on your bare belly, and wrap it around your waist, keeping it parallel to the floor. Breathe out, and with the tape measure snug but not too tight, take the measurement. Repeat the procedure, and if you get a different result, do it a 3rd time and average the 3 results. That is your waist circumference. Next, measure the distance around the largest part of your hips, the widest part of your buttocks. Now, determine your waist to hip ratio by dividing your waist size by your hip size. For men, that number should be 0.95 or less, and for women, 0.85 or less. If it is higher, you have an increased risk of suffering a heart attack or stroke. To determine your waist to height ratio, divide your waist size by your height. As a general rule, your waist size should be less than half your height. Abdominal obesity, also called central obesity, beer belly, beer gut, or pot belly, is an excess of visceral fat in the abdominal area. It gets packed between the internal organs such as the stomach, liver, intestines, and kidneys. There is an increased risk of disease associated with too large a waist circumference. For men, the risk increases with a waist circumference of 40 inches or larger, and for women, 35 inches or larger. If you are a man and your waist circumference is 40 inches or larger, you need to lose weight. If you are a woman and your waist circumference is 35 inches or larger, you need to lose weight. To quote Zig Ziglar again, the first step in solving a problem is to recognize that it does exist. If you are overweight and/or your stomach is too big, you have a problem. You have taken the first step in solving that problem. You recognize that it does exist. Now the next step is to take action, to change the things in your life that only you can change in order to begin to move toward your healthy weight. To quote Carol Burnett, "Only I can change my life. No one can do it for me." God has done His part. He has designed for you a body that will gradually return to its optimal weight and shape when given the right conditions. No matter how far away you are from your ideal weight, you will get there by patience and perseverance. Ralph Waldo Emerson said it very eloquently, "Adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience." James 5:7 says, "Therefore be patient, brethren, until the coming of the Lord. See how the farmer waits for the precious fruit of the earth, waiting patiently for it until it receives the early and latter rain." The virtues of patience and perseverance apply to every area of life. Take finances, for example. Jesus had a lot to say about money. In Luke 16:11, He said, "Therefore, if you have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, who will commit to your trust the true riches?" And in Luke 14:28 through 30, He gives us a lesson in financial responsibility. "For which of you, intending to build a tower, does not sit down first and count the cost, whether he has enough to finish it, lest, after he has laid the foundation and is not able to finish, all who see it begin to mock him, saying, 'This man began to build and was not able to finish.'" A contemporary Christian proponent of financial responsibility is Dave Ramsey. One of his many wise sayings is, "There are no shortcuts to getting out of debt." I can testify to that. I can say from personal experience that it requires patience and perseverance. It requires sacrifice and hard work, but it is well worth the effort. It took us 3.5 years to pay off all of our debt except our house. It required patience, week by week, month by month, and year by year. But with God's help, we got it done. There are no shortcuts to excellent health either. The primary goal of Healthy Weight 2020 is to get you into excellent health and keep you there for the rest of your life. Once you get there, your weight will take care of itself. Let me remind you of a quote by Hippocrates that I shared in chapter 1 that says, "Healing is a matter of time, but it is sometimes also a matter of opportunity." Don't miss this opportunity. There are no shortcuts to truly good health. It may take time, but it will be worth it. It will be time well spent. Whether you need to lose 20 pounds or 200, you will never reach your goal if you don't start moving toward it. As Lao Tzu wisely said, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Take that step right now. Make up your mind that you will do whatever it takes to get your body, the temple of the Holy Spirit, back to a healthy weight and shape. I don't know about you, but for me, time flies. The years go by almost like months. How will you feel a year from now if you don't take control of your health right now? I'm going to show you how you can easily lose a pound a week without starving or giving up everything you love to eat. That's 50 pounds in a year. If you need to lose 100 pounds, it will take you 2 years. If you need to lose 200 pounds, it may take you 4 years. So what if it takes you a year, 2 years, or 4 years to reach your health goals? Can you think of a better way to spend the next few years? And one thing's for sure, if you keep doing what you're doing now, you will never reach your health and weight goals. I really like a quote that's often attributed to Albert Einstein. I'm pretty sure he didn't originate it, but it sounds like something he would have said. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. But here is something that he did say for sure. The significant problems we have cannot be solved at the same level of thinking with which we created them. It's time to take our thinking about health, nutrition, and lifestyle to the next level. Remember, the main focus of Healthy Weight 2020 is not actually weight, but health. While overweight and an oversized waist are risk factors for disease, there are other risk factors that we will address in the coming chapters. So, even if your weight and waist are within the normal range, you may still be putting your health at risk by what you are eating, drinking, doing, or not doing. Stay with us throughout this series to find out more about how you can obtain and maintain your healthy weight, not just your normal weight. Our next chapter is about water. I find it very interesting that approximately 71% of the Earth's surface is covered in water, and the human body is composed of a similar percentage. Water is essential to life. A person can go weeks without food, but only a few days without water. In the next chapter, we'll examine not only how drinking the proper amount of good water is the foundation of good health, but also how it is a major key in regaining and maintaining your healthy weight. Until next time, to your health.